June 19th. On this day, in 240, the Greek mathematician Eratosthenes estimated the circumference of Earth by comparing the angles of shadows cast by two sticks placed in different locations. His calculations were remarkably precise for the time, laying a foundation for later scientific discoveries. In 1306, the Earl of Pembroke's English army defeated Robert the Bruce's Scottish forces at the Battle of Methven, significantly impacting Scotland's struggle for independence during the early 14th century. In 1369, Philip the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, married Margaret III, Countess of Flanders. This union strengthened political alliances between Burgundy and Flanders, two significant European regions of the late Middle Ages. In 1738, Maria Amalia of Saxony, aged 13, married Charles, King of Naples and Sicily, who was 22 at Portella. This royal marriage was part of a broader network of dynastic alliances in 18th century Europe. In 1778, after enduring a harsh winter of training, General George Washington's Continental Army finally left Valley Forge, emerging as a more unified and disciplined force during the American Revolutionary War. In 1829, British Home Secretary Robert Peel introduced the Metropolitan Police Act in Parliament. This act established the first modern, unified police force in London, nicknamed the Bobbies, and became a model for law enforcement worldwide. In 1843, the German philosopher Karl Marx, aged 25, married Jenny von Westphalen in Germany. Their partnership would become a significant influence in Marx's later writings and activism. In 1846, baseball pioneer Alexander Joy Cartwright arranged a game between the New York Knickerbockers and the New York Nine in Hoboken, New Jersey. This marked the first baseball game played using the set of rules that would shape modern baseball. In 1861, residents in the region that would soon become West Virginia elected Francis Pierpont as their provisional governor, a key step in the creation of the state during the American Civil War. In 1862, the United States Congress outlawed slavery in all U.S. territories, marking an important milestone in the growing abolitionist movement before the Emancipation Proclamation. In 1862, President Abraham Lincoln outlined his plans for the Emancipation Proclamation, and news of the document began to reach the southern states, signaling a significant shift in U.S. policy during the Civil War. In 1864, the Union warship USS Kearsarge sank the Confederate raider CSS Alabama off the coast of Cherbourg, France, in a dramatic naval battle of the American Civil War. In 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and declared that all enslaved people were free. This announcement led to the celebration of Juneteenth, marking the end of slavery in the United States. In 1867, Emperor Maximilian of Mexico was executed by firing squad, ending his brief reign and a tumultuous period in Mexican history. In 1867, the first Belmont Stakes horse race took place, with Gilbert Gilpatrick riding Ruthless to victory in a time of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. In 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrived in New York City from France, a gift symbolizing friendship between the two nations, and becoming a lasting icon of freedom and hope. In 1896, American socialite Wallace Warfield was born. She later married Edward VIII, who abdicated the British throne to marry her, forever changing the course of British royal history. In 1903, Lou Gehrig, known as the Iron Horse, was born. He became one of the most durable and celebrated players in American professional baseball. In 1910, the first Father's Day was celebrated in Spokane, Washington, recognizing the contributions of fathers and fatherhood in the United States. In 1913, South Africa implemented the Natives Land Act, a law that restricted black land ownership to designated native reserve areas, totaling less than 10% of the country. This act laid the groundwork for decades of segregation until the end of apartheid in the 1990s. In 1933, France granted political asylum to Leon Trotsky, the Russian revolutionary who had been exiled for his opposition to Joseph Stalin's regime. In 1934, the Federal Communications Commission, known as the FCC, was established in the United States to regulate communications by radio, television, wire, satellite, and cable. In 1937, the town of Bilbao, Spain, fell to the nationalist forces during the Spanish Civil War, marking a major victory for Francisco Franco's side. In 1942, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill arrived in Washington, D.C. to meet with President Franklin Roosevelt. They discussed preparations for the Allied invasion of North Africa during World War II. In 1944, on the first day of the two-day Battle of the Philippine Sea, U.S. naval forces decisively defeated the Japanese fleet in a pivotal World War II confrontation. In 1944, United States Navy carrier-based planes shattered the remaining Japanese carrier forces during the Battle of the Marianas, contributing to Allied dominance in the Pacific. In 1951, President Harry S. Truman signed the Universal Military Training and Service Act, which extended the selective service draft until July 1, 1955, and lowered the draft age to 18. In 1958, 9 entertainers refused to answer questions from a congressional committee investigating alleged communist activities in the entertainment industry, reflecting the tensions of the Red Scare era. In 1960, country music star Loretta Lynn recorded her breakthrough song, I'm a Honky Tonk Girl, launching her influential career in country music. In 1961, Kuwait regained full independence from Britain, marking a significant moment in the history of the Middle East. In 1963, Soviet cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman to travel in space, returned safely to Earth after her historic mission aboard the spacecraft Vostok 6. In 1964, the United States Senate passed the Civil Rights Act after overcoming a strong filibuster. The law outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin and became a landmark of the civil rights movement. In 1965, Air Marshal Nguyen Chau Ky became South Vietnam's youngest premier at age 34 during the ongoing Vietnam War. In 1968, more than 50,000 people marched on Washington, D.C. in support of the Poor People's Campaign, demanding economic justice and civil rights. In 1978, Garfield, the comic strip by Jim Davis featuring the lazy, lasagna-loving cat, debuted in 41 newspapers. It would go on to become the world's most widely syndicated comic strip. In 1987, a car bomb planted by the Basque separatist organization ETA killed 21 people in Barcelona, Spain, during the Hipercor bombing, one of the deadliest attacks in Spain's modern history. In 1987, the United States Supreme Court struck down a Louisiana law that required schools to teach creationism, affirming the separation of church and state in public education. In 1991, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar surrendered to police, an event that marked a turning point in the struggle against the drug cartels in Colombia. In 1995, the Richmond, Virginia Planning Commission approved plans to place a memorial statue of tennis champion Arthur Ashe, honoring his achievements and legacy. In 2002, American adventurer Steve Fawcett began his record-breaking solo balloon flight around the world, taking off from Northam in Western Australia. After completing over 33,000 kilometers, he landed safely in Queensland, becoming the first person to fly solo nonstop around the globe in a balloon. In 2013, American actor James Gandolfini, best known for portraying Tony Soprano on the HBO series The Sopranos, died of a heart attack while vacationing in Rome, Italy. In 2015, Pixar released the animated film Inside Out, featuring the voices of Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, Louis Black, Bill Hader, and Mindy Kaling. The movie received critical acclaim for its imaginative depiction of emotions. In 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by star LeBron James, defeated the Golden State Warriors in a thrilling Game 7 to win their first National Basketball Association title.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.